Hope you guys had a great Friday. Happy Saturday. Let's go ahead and jump into this week in brief. Once again, if you are looking for specific information, the chapters are listed above or below in the description. But let's go ahead and jump right into this. Taking a brief look at crypto, we see that Bitcoin has dropped below that $65,000 mark. We'll take a more in-depth look at this in just a few, but let's go ahead and take a look and see how the averages ended the week yesterday. We had the NASDAQ ending in the red, pulling heavy at negative 0.92 or 92%. We had the Dow Jones ending right above that 1% mark at negative 1.05%. And we had the S&P also ending in the red along with them at negative 0.43%. So a little bit of a sell-off after the midweek push with solid earnings from some of the small and mid-cap heavy hitters, especially in the quantum sector. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how the portfolio ended the week. We had Netflix surging off of information that they were backing out of the Warner Bros. Deal in competition with Paramount. So that is big. As far as the aftermarket hours, we had Meta surging at 3.36% due to news release that it was connecting with Google for AI chips, which is a solid move for Meta in the space. But let's go ahead and we're going to take a closer look at the S&P, and then we will build from there, mostly looking at a little bit of major news that we missed out on during the last part of the week. But let's get into this S&P chart analysis, and we will go from there. We're going to start with the daily time frame, and we see we had a major drop back below that mid boundary that we have set up at around 6,900 as the mark. So still in a sideways trend as expected over the next couple weeks, next couple months leading into May, June. I said those months wrong, but our expectation is that the market will not fully make a decision of where it's going to go until the latter part of the year, or we may continue lower. But we'll keep a watch on the chart analysis as far as the S&P and the market to get a gauge of that. You can still find winners in a sideways market. There's always opportunity to pick stocks that are successful even in a market in general that's just bouncing between bounds. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. I'm going to do this slowly. I'm just going to click it this time. Boom, BTC. So looking at BTC, it seems on the daily time frame that we're still just bouncing in that sideways trend as far as the daily time frame, which is pretty much expected until we get clarity on the Clarity Act. Let's get a 30-minute time frame, and we see that we continued that heavy downtrend back down below that $65,000 mark that we surged past after Circle Internet released its earnings this past Wednesday and beat like no one else expected. But right now Bitcoin is sitting at around 63,000, and we'll keep a watch on it during the weekend, and we will catch up on where it sits after Sunday into the Monday morning open. But let's jump into some of this major news that has dropped regarding some of the stocks in our portfolio, starting with Archer Aviation. Now, I just want to say that compared to Joby Aviation, which is one of the other eVTOL companies that I hold in the portfolio that we discussed their earnings this week, this aircraft looks phenomenally better, I will have to say. But to each their own. But major news dropping from Archer is that they are partnering with the infamous Elon Musk to bring Starlink on board midnight air taxis. So Archer Aviation today announced it will work with Starlink to bring stable, reliable, and high-speed connectivity to its air taxis, making Starlink's entry into the emerging air mobility category an industry-first collaboration. It's big. Elon is one of the premier innovators of this generation, and connecting with Archer is one sign of the, I guess you could say, the status of what Archer is trying to do in the space of the eVTOL race. So major move. Under the agreement, Archer will install Starlink's low Earth orbit LEO satellite internet system into its Midnight aircraft and conduct testing. The system is designed to provide high-speed, low-latency connectivity during Midnight's air taxis operations. Beyond passenger internet access, Archer plans to utilize Starlink enable communications between Midnight pilots and engineering teams on the ground, helping to support the company's air taxi connectivity infrastructure. Archer and Starlink also plan to work together to develop a connectivity solution that can help power Archer's future development of autonomous aircraft. A lot of movement in this new air, space, and eVTOL race, but major moves by Archer Aviation. I believe they released their earnings either Monday or Tuesday, so we will be covering that very closely to see how they have done compared to Joby Aviation, who came out the blocks pretty solidly when it comes to their earnings report. As far as other players, Affirm making another connection, expanding its international reach. H&R Block Canada taps Affirm to make tax season less taxing, another major connection. Just recently, who did Affirm connect with for tax season? Intuit. So another key player in the game. But Affirm and H&R Block Canada today announced a new partnership that brings flexible payment options to H&R Block clients across Canada. Eligible filers can now split the cost of professional tax services into simple, transparent installments with no late fees, no hidden charges, and no compounding interest. And this is the major difference between Affirm and other loan offering institutions. No hidden fees when it comes to the interest that they charge. And if you get into them or take advantage of the opportunities they have when it comes to loaning money at an interest rate, everything is clearly stated. Affirm making major moves. Moving on to Broadcom, another major player in the chip space, along with NVIDIA and Qualcomm. But Broadcom, one of the major players, I believe they are the manufacturers of the Apple chip. So solid stock to probably look into and add to your portfolio if you do not have them there, especially during this AI race. Now, news they dropped. Broadcom ships 3.5D face-to-face compute SoC powering the AI revolution. Whenever AI is mentioned, you know that it is a major move. Just in case you don't know what AOC or SoC means, it is a highly integrated semiconductor device that combines multiple components such as CPU, GPU, memory, and networking onto a single chip to power specialized applications. So it's just a tech solution. Global technology leader that designs, develops, and supplies semiconductor and infrastructure software solutions has begun shipping the industry's first 2-nanometer custom compute SoC chip built on its extreme 3.5D extreme dimension system in package platform. The CEO, it says, we're proud to deliver the first 3.5D custom compute SoC for Fujitsu, one of Japan's premier companies, a testament to the outstanding execution and innovation of the Broadcom team. So nice moves by Broadcom during this week, expanding its reach and providing the backbone for the AI revolution. Moving on, we are going to look at Doordash. Now, we just went over Doordash's earnings this past week, and the earnings call was, as I would say, lackluster when it came to connecting with stakeholders, investors, and caring about the customer on their platforms. Now, with that, bad news for Doordash to a certain degree. Doordash to wind down Deliveroo and Wolt operations in 4 countries. Now, information like this or news articles that drop like this is just a sign to me that they expanded just to expand for the numbers. That's what this title is telling me. So because of them just expanding to expand, they now have to contract and cut out some business, even though it may not affect their revenue because they have other opportunities within their company and within their reach and internet in the international space. But information like this is a bad sign, even though the numbers may look good. So just something to think about. They're exiting Qatar, Singapore, Japan, and Uzbekistan. The action is not expected to materially impact DoorDash financial outlook. It says the company will begin an orderly wind down process in each country and will work closely with local teams and partners to support employees, merchants, consumers, riders, and couriers through the transition. See, this is negative information. I may have to do a little bit of spring cleaning in my portfolio, honestly, because companies that don't take care of their people or aren't making wise moves when it comes to their expansion and their growth as far as the international space and the national space within the borders of the US, it's just a sign of instability. The numbers may look good, the chart may look good, their stocks may rise, but it's just one of my pillars when it comes to investing. Let's take a look at their stock very quickly. And then we will move on to the last few articles that we have to look as far as major news in the portfolio. It has been on a somewhat of a heavy downtrend as far as the daily time frame, just following the market right now. But in general, the monthly time frame looks pretty solid as compared to most. And this is the only thing that may change my mind is the fact that this chart is phenomenal. And their numbers work. I just don't like the foundations, the culture, of the company, but to each their own. Invest as you will. Let's move on to the last few articles we have. FICO launches new mortgage score simulator to help consumers prepare for home ownership. If you do not know, the housing market is going through a heavy pullback right now, and FICO in general, as far as the stock is concerned, has been in a heavy pullback since October last year, right after, that's December of 2024. So right after Trump took office, which is somewhat of a sign that transition into a new administration kind of affected FICO, but majorly this was caused due to the new administration discounting the FICO software, which is premium and better than the software needed to score credit for housing. But with that, FICO has been focusing on commercializing its product a little bit more outside of the general federal landscape. But the chart in general over the decades and over the years is solid, has that lovely curve, and we will keep an eye on it. But if you did not know, once again, the housing market is in a downturn. So the next few years may be a solid opportunity for people to take advantage of low interest rates if they keep cutting, and a decrease in price because demand is slowly but surely on a decline, along with the supply increasing because people are trying to sell their houses, but they just can't. But it says, MyFICO, the consumer division of global analytics software leader, today announced the launch of a new mortgage score simulator designed to help consumers better prepare for their credit health before applying for mortgage, which is major. Trying to figure out all the ins and outs when it comes to your credit score and what needs to be on your report so that you get the price and the interest rate that you want on your mortgage is huge. So it's available to MyFICO Premier subscribers, and the new tool enables consumers to simulate how different credit actions could impact several of the FICO score versions most widely used in U.S. mortgage lending. So just making more opportunity, creating a healthier environment when it comes to purchasing a home, which is solid. Next up, we got Ionq, the NVIDIA of quantum. One of the major players in the quantum sector that released its earnings this past week. Some of this information you may know just because of the coverage that we did on their earnings report this past week. But solid stock, beautiful stair step when it comes to its chart. But they have successfully deployed the technology powering the Romanian National Quantum Communication Infrastructure. This initiative represents one of the largest and most complex operational quantum key distribution networks in Europe and one of the largest of its kind outside of China, which is major. Quantum is the next realm of cybersecurity. If you don't know, when it comes to quantum, it is the linchpin in taking down finance networks, crypto, and a lot of other arenas that are key to national security and protection within national borders, whether it's international or within the US. So it's major that we continue to build out these networks and keep up, but not only keep up, but beat China when it comes to these avenues in the quantum sector, which is dope. Next up is Rocket Labs. If you did not watch the launch yesterday, I'm a little bit of a nerd, and I definitely enjoyed my little watch party watching their launch of a hypersonic test missile that one of the Australian companies, Hypersonics, developed. But big news coming out of Rocket Labs is that they secured the latest multi-launch contract with Blacksky for 4 times dedicated Electron missions. So 4 more missions secured for the year 2026 with Blacksky. As Rocket Lab USA, global leader in launch service and space systems, today announced it has signed another multi-launch deal with real-time space-based intelligence company Blacksky, BKSY. It's a company. Ooh, let's go look at it. Let's see. I like this. Blacksky. You know how I like tech and you know how I like space. Profile chart does not look great, but it says Blacksky Technologies, a space-based intelligence company. Okay, well, looks like we might be adding them to the portfolio soon. The company delivers on-demand high-frequency imagery, monitoring, and analytics of the strategic locations, economic assets, and events in the world. It designs, owns, and operates low Earth orbit small satellite constellations. Ooh, yes. Definitely adding it to the portfolio. It has a slight sign of a monthly stair step, barely any movement though. But with its connection to Its connection to Rocket Labs, that's nice. We'll see about it. It may be a gamble, but I like space-based companies, and it's just starting out. So I will more than likely be adding this to the portfolio next week. It may be building behind the scenes. But it's been in a downtrend similar to the general market, but we'll look into that. The multi-launch deal secures 4 new dedicated Electron launches, bringing the total number of Electron launches for Blacksky since 2019 to 17, and making Rocket Lab the single most prolific launch provider to Blacksky globally. So this is dope for Rocket Labs, who just had a successful launch yesterday. Phenomenal to watch. We love live launches. I'm actually watching a private company launch their vehicle or their rocket later this evening. So another launch watch party. Nerd much. Last piece of news today is something that we mentioned regarding Joby Aviation earlier this week in their earnings that they talked about. But Uber is partnering with Joby Aviation for takeoff for air taxis starting in Dubai. So it says we're introducing Uber Air. There you go. There's the title of it. Powered by Joby. That is a major connection. Once again, Joby Aviation partnering with Uber is huge. Uber is, the international leader when it comes to taxis, delivery, and travel. So major move. Giving riders a first look at how they will be able to book a Joby Aviation all-electric air taxi directly in the Uber app. Joby expects to carry out its first passengers later this year in Dubai, marking a major milestone in the Joby Uber partnership to bring multimodal transportation to cities. So some of the features include on-tap booking. To experience feature a flight on Joby aircraft, riders will simply open the Uber app and enter their destination in the Where to Go bar. If their trip qualifies, Uber Air powered by Joby will appear as an option. That is crazy, man. Just imagine, in the next 2 years, we may be having air taxis happening all around us, especially in major cities. Charlotte, you never know. But other than that, guys, I believe that is all that I have for you guys on this lovely Saturday. Just a little bit of news in the market to keep us up to date, to keep us in the motions of the market and the companies that we are following and the general movement in the innovative tech industry. But other than that, guys, hope you have a great Saturday. I will see you Monday. Don't forget to stock the future. We are investing so that you can fire your boss. That is the goal. We want the opportunity to use our money, use our funds, use our time to pursue the goals, the dreams, build the future for our families and our next generation, and enjoy life as it should be. So start the future. I will see you guys on Monday, and have a great Saturday. Peace.